December 14, 2023 meeting of the Burlington Conservation Commission. First order of business is to do a roll call. Please say if you're present or say here when I call your name. Bill Boyven, the record should show he is absent, Vice Chair. Commissioner Ed Laturco. Here. Commissioner Sarah Walensky.
Here.
Commissioner Rob Sheehan.
Here.
Commissioner Indra Deb.
Here.
Commissioner Ken Moffett.
Here.
And for the record, the Chair, Larry Cohen, is here as well. So we have 6 present. Okay. This meeting of the Burlington Conservation Commission will be held in person at the Town Hall. Members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting. Please note that while an option for remote attendance or participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting/hearings will not be suspended or terminated if technical problems interrupt the virtual broadcast unless otherwise provided by law. Members of the public with particular interest in any specific item on the agenda should make plans for in-person attendance versus virtual attendance accordingly. Okay, the next item is item 2, which is public comment. We reserve this time for anybody who would like to talk about something not on the agenda. Is there anybody either in the room or on the internet that would like to talk about something not on the agenda? All right, the record should show that there was no one coming forth for public comment period. Approval of minutes, November 9, 2023. Are we in a position to approve those?
Well, I went out to you. Did you read
I
them?
guess there's no comment.
Okay.
Could I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, that's 6-0-0.
You missed.
Okay. Next, we have a request for a determination of applicability. Notice is given that the commission will hold a public meeting during which time we'll have a request for determination of applicability filed by Sunshine Realty Trust, Dan Murray, trustee, for proposed clearing and grading activity in association with the demolition and construction of a new single-family dwelling, and will thereafter issue a determination. Said activity would be within the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetative wetland. It is located at 220 Mill Street. The application, you may obtain a copy of the application by writing to conservation@burlington.org. Is there someone representing the applicant here for that one? Come on down.
Sit right here.
Absolutely. That's the guest of honor, Chair.
A little different now, that's all.
A little bit. But the procedure's the same. You've been here many times, so you state your name, who you're representing, and your role, and the chair, the microphone is yours.
Yes, thank you. My name is David Romero with Commonwealth Engineering. I'm here on behalf of Sunshine Realty Trust, Dan Murray. And we're here with an application for an RDA for a demolition of an existing house and construction of a new house. And if you see on the plan in our application, it's basically I think we've met all the requirements. We have proposed drainage, we have proposed grading, we've also installed erosion control around the site, and so basically we've gone through with the normal procedures for an application. So, any questions, I'll be glad to answer that.
Great, thank you for the summary. All right, Eileen, are you taking the lead on this?
I will. I'll just add a little bit to what David said. So just to let you guys know, there is a wetland off-site. I'll make the mouse bigger in a minute. It's right up at the top of the screen. They're just showing the approximate wetland. They were, because it was off-site, they were unable to go and flag it on somebody else's site. So this is just the layer, I believe, taken from the Mass Mapper, right?
Yes, Mass
So it's
GIS.
approximate. But they're definitely pretty well outside the wetland. Still a little bit of work in the buffer zone. I think they're going to be taking down one tree in the buffer zone, doing some grading, removing a pile of mostly yard debris, and I think taking down one tree as well in the buffer zone. They're also taking out the septic tank, which, is that in the buffer? Where's the zone gone?
No, I think it's outside the buffer.
Maybe outside. We actually thought that the wetland was a bit closer just on viewing it the other day. But either way, the septic tank is out now already because, well, it just makes sense. It made sense to take it out when they did. When they have submitted supporting stormwater calculations and designs for the house, as if so that you can also issue this under the stormwater bylaw as well.
Okay,
Is that clear enough?
it was clear enough.
Okay.
All right, let's see if there's any questions. Kent, anything on this? Indra? Rob? Nope. Sarah?
No.
Ed?
Nothing to add, no.
My only question is there any intent to clear for a yard beyond the hay bales?
No, at this time there was not, no.
So you're going to leave it natural beyond the hay bales?
Yes, that's correct.
The yard debris that I mentioned is at the moment behind the wattles, so we'll probably have them move the wattles just to do that work. And I did have one question for David, if that's okay, that I forgot to mention. David, what's the size of the trench? Was the trench sized for the driveway, or are you just going with a...
It's a 24-inch stone trench. It is on the plan, maybe it's hard to read.
Oh, it's on the
Right.
plan?
Yeah,
Oh,
it is.
it's on the details? It wasn't on the stormwater report, which is what I was actually looking at. So 24-inch, that's fine.
One more point. Is there any notation anywhere? I assume the driveway, you have the trench to catch the driveway runoff?
Yes, right.
Is there any notation that the people building the driveway know to pitch it to it at all?
There is a note there that says grade to drain, so it's off to the right there. It's on the plan.
Okay, it's on there.
Yeah.
All right, so
And
would you,
Mr. Murray has done these before, so he knows that he has to pitch that driveway.
all right, okay. Troy, this is not his first time. Okay, all right. Okay, I don't have anything else. Is there anyone, any other comment? Nope, okay, so we have some draft negative conditional determination. I guess Eileen, you'll
We
sort of
do.
summarize it?
Yeah, I just have to... Sure that's working as expected. Okay, it is. We just make it bigger. Okay, so this is basically for the project as we just described, mostly earthwork and grading and landscaping, with some of the work within the 100-foot buffer zone. Let me see. Wetlands were not flagged, as I mentioned. Closest work was approximately 90 feet from the BVW. I think I was changing that to a little bit closer, but maybe I didn't on that version. It also says that you are administering, regulating stormwater management under the stormwater bylaw. That should actually say stormwater bylaw rather than erosion and sedimentation control. I'll just change that. And they did all the relevant calculations. Prior to beginning any construction on site, sediment barriers shall be installed and inspected. There's two things of note. One, we asked for straw wattles with a silt fence, and Mr. Murray spoke to me today about that. He pointed out that he had actually put in 12-inch wattles rather than 10-inch, and therefore, could we skip the silt fence because he's already got it in place and he would have to go back. And I think that under the circumstances, that is okay. He has put the bigger wattles in, and it's actually quite far from the wetland. It's not like it's particularly close. John had also added something, in fact, I think John wrote this, to say that The sediment barrier shall be extended along the east side of the lot up to Mill Street and around the area of debris proposed for removal. Oh, I'm sorry, we said that. One tree may be removed under this determination, that is within the buffer. They're also having to remove some trees at the front where the new house is going in, but that's outside the buffer. All construction excavated soil shall be disposed of off-site in a legal manner. Any stockpiling shall be at least 20 feet from the street and more than 50 feet from the wetland. No invasive species shall be planted anywhere in Burlington. No filling or grading beyond what's shown on the approved plan, and that is actually quite minimal grading, right?
It is, yeah,
David?
minimal grading, yeah. Just loving it out.
It's just a foot or two mostly. wasn't
Yeah.
it? And then rooftop runoff shall be infiltrated on the lot and not discharged to roadways. Whoa, that was weird. Or adjacent lots. Did somebody just turn on their sound?
Indra,
Can you turn your...
can you mute yourself?
Yeah, I did. Oh, sorry,
Muted.
sorry. Turn down the...
Okay, sorry about that. The applicant will be installing recharge systems on both the east and west side of the house. No downspouts shall be directed to driveway. The new driveway shall be pitched to a 24-inch stone infiltration trench. We actually mentioned the grades again, apparently, just for good measure. And the others are standard about how we have the right to go on to just inspect erosion controls and work in progress.
Okay, any questions, Mr. Romero?
Yeah, how far do we want to extend the erosion control? I'm not clear, is it along the east side up to Mills, so the whole length of that sideline?
You want to put the plan back up there?
Oh, I will. I'll have to stop this because it's word, okay.
Because that's going uphill, it's just wondering about that.
Okay. Here it is.
So on, can you zoom in a little?
Yeah.
So on the right-hand side of the house, you have an infiltration system there, and there's no erosion controls anywhere near that.
Okay.
And it's pretty close to the lot line. So they should come up at least beyond where that infiltration system's going. And if there's stockpiling on the street side of where that excavation is going, then they should extend beyond the stockpile.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, all set so far?
Yeah, that's
All right, any questions from the commission? When we were at the site, I thought I heard that the closest disturbance was less than 90 feet. It said like 50, 60 feet, I thought. Did I miss it?
We had thought that just visually, that the wetland was a little bit closer, and I thought I had changed the wording. So if you're okay with it, I'm going to change it to more like 80 feet, because it was maybe 60 feet off the lot, it was beyond the lot line. It just may have been a little bit closer, but not more than 20 feet closer.
So are you comfortable with 80 feet then? That's roughly accurate, approximate?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, if there's nothing further, then could I have a motion to issue a negative conditional determination on the project at 220 Mill Street under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 in the State Wetlands Protection Act?
You want to put it out to the audience? If anybody had any interest in this?
It's not a hearing, so he doesn't have to.
Well, I
okay.
did ask if there was any other comment from anyone.
Got it.
So I figured they would say
I
so.
so move.
Thank you. Second. You divert fast. Okay, all in favor? 600. All right. All right, sir, you're all set.
Thank you very much.
Good luck with the project. All right, next, another request for determination. Notice is given that the commission will hold a public meeting, during which time a request for determination of applicability has been filed by Claudio Arroyo for the proposed construction of a residential addition and patio within the riverfront area at 5 Phillips Ave in Burlington. and we will thereafter issue a determination. The application's being heard pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, which is the Wetlands Protection Act, and Burlington Bylaw 14. And you obtain a copy of the application by writing to conservation@burlington.org. Please have a seat. How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. My name is Allison. Claudia wasn't able to reach out here, so I work for All Matters General Contractor, and I represent the job at 5 Philip Ave.
Sure.
And here's the owner.
Good to see you.
So we are proposing to do an addition on the back of the house, and they found like a stream around 130 feet on the back of the house also. We also propose to do a porch at the front, or maybe we postpone those porch on the front maybe for later job. But let's keep on the rear addition. So it will be, sorry, around 20 feet. 10 by 20. And it's going along the house and 10 feet further.
Okay. All right. Eileen, do you have some comments for us?
I'll take this one.
Okay. John?
So it's a small addition, so it's only going 10 feet behind the existing house. And originally, before we did a site visit and just based on GIS, we determined that it was in the riverfront area, hence the filing. And I think we did the first time we went out to the site was yesterday with the commission. And, or no, excuse me, actually, it wasn't yesterday, it was the day before yesterday. And when we were out there, it was determined that there's actually an additional wetland on the lot. So it's to the right and rear of the house. You can actually see it on the aerial as sort of an area of like natural vegetation there, bushy, shrubby stuff. So at this time, it appears to be an isolated wetland. I would guess that originally it was connected probably to the brook, and that the property between the brook and this applicant has done work over the years and sort of cut it off. So it's probably got a high water table. It's additionally getting hydrology from a sump pump, which according to the applicant runs more or less all the time. So there's a high water table, and that wetland is constantly getting fed by the sump pump. But it's borderline, I would say, whether or not it's jurisdiction under the bylaw. So the Burlington Wetland Bylaw has jurisdiction over wetlands that are 500 square feet or greater. The Wetlands Protection Act does not protect isolated wetlands at all. So if this is jurisdictional, it is only under the bylaw. The only way to determine that would be have the applicant flag the wetlands, have a surveyor go out and measure it. I don't think, given the scope of the project, I'm not recommending that you require that. I would just say that you assume it's jurisdictional and make sure that it's not disturbed any more than, the 10 feet of encroachment towards it, which will require you to vote for a waiver of the 40-foot no build and 20-foot no disturb.
Okay, that's a good summary. So the encroachment is in what, the 40-foot no build?
And probably within the 20-foot. I mean, without flagging it, it's hard to say. You'd have to look at soils, but it could well be within the 20-foot no disturb as well.
All right. So would we, if we're waiving both, can you do it all in one motion?
Sure.
Yeah. All right. All right, so I guess that's a good summary. Ed, anything, questions on this one?
Just to verify, it's just a post, there's no foundation. Is that correct?
No. No basement, right?
On slab? On slab?
On slab.
Yeah, so it's not on pillars, it's on the slab, on grade slab.
Okay, okay.
Sorry.
That's it for me.
All right, Sarah?
Could you explain again how there's a wetland that used to be connected to something else that was cut off? It wasn't,
Sure. So,
Maybe Eileen could blow up that section a little bit more. On the picture where the wetland is on the right-hand side.
box
one,
around
that
it? Yeah, that picture.
Sorry,
Yeah.
this one here?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
you
I can
could-
zoom into that. Yep.
yes, so you can see further to the right, you can see where the stream is over there.
Oh, yeah.
So,
That thing. It
just
yeah,
shows-
so I'm guessing that behind that large white house at one time, it could have been, 30, 40 years ago, that was probably wetlands, and it was
Okay.
probably a continuous wetland in there. Given the high water table, I mean, probably if you went out behind that white house and augured and looked at the soils in their lawn, you'd probably find hydric soil. So I'm guessing that it was all bordering vegetated wetland at one time, but you have to go by what the existing condition is, really.
And the sump pump in the house currently runs all the time?
Mainly on the rainy days, otherwise, no.
Oh, okay, so it does run, it's not continually running, you're not continually pumping out the basement, it's just sometimes, okay,
Okay.
all right, that's,
Misunderstood what he said. I thought he said it ran all the time, but it probably runs a lot, though.
Yeah, rainy, then all time, otherwise,
Okay.
peaks on that.
Otherwise, only every 15 seconds.
all right, that's all for me.
Okay, Rob?
So I think you suggested something like delineating it?
No, I'm not suggesting that. To determine where the actual boundary of the wetland is, you'd have to delineate it, and then to determine whether or not it's
flag.
500 square feet, you'd have to measure the boundaries of it and then have it calculated. But I don't think, given the scope of the project, it's not worth it.
Indra?
So, question to you. So no build zone 40 feet and 20 feet. How much do you think that it will go? How much area inside that no build zone?
I think it probably barely goes into the 20-foot.
I see.
Just barely, probably. Because it's only going 10 feet behind the existing house, and it was probably roughly close to 30 feet, I would say, from the house to the beginning of the wetland. But that's a guess. I'd have to look at
No, I know.
soils, but,
Yes, okay, thank you.
yeah.
Don't have.
All right. Kent?
So just the logic, just so I understand this, because people are going to use, to understand, you're saying the waiver of the 40 and the 20 is just because it's a really small house and basically,
Well, it's a small addition.
small addition, and it's a small, basically, to
And it's not a bordering vegetated wetland. It's a fairly small, self-contained wetland at this point, which, I hate to put values on various wetlands, but, this wetland has probably less value than a bordering vegetated wetland. It's just sort of an isolated area surrounded by lawn on one side, well, lawn basically, so.
and to Rob's point, like, to your point, like, basically not to make them flag it and have like a surveyor come out with the
That
additional.
would be a lot of expense.
A lot of expense, but I mean-
About like 490 square feet,
Yeah.
and then they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And you say, oh, well.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for clarifying. That's it.
Yeah, my assessment is this is a very modest project. I suspect that it's very close to the 500, just under or just over, it's hard to say. And it strikes me that the hydrology of this wetland probably depends a great deal on the constant pumping out of the basement. So to make these people go through the expense of hiring a wetland scientist in order to delineate it and then do the calculation of the area, it sounds a bit excessive for even the size of the project. It's so close. So I think if we presume it is a wetland, we do not require it to be delineated, and we simply do the waiver. I suggest a waiver might be appropriate, given how small the project is. Any further comment? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to make a comment? All right, so the first item of business is a waiver. Could I have a motion to issue a waiver of, for intrusion into the 40-foot no-build zone and the 20-foot no-disturb zone by a small amount for the project located at 5 Phillips Ave under Burlington Bylaw Article 14?
So moved, Kent.
Second?
Second?
All in favor? 600. Okay, the waiver's granted. Next, you have a negative conditional determination to look at? Okay, so I guess we have a...
Sure.
So the project is an addition to the rear of the house with a farmer's porch in the front and a patio behind the new addition. The work was in the riverfront area to locally regulated stream, and also the 100-foot buffer zone to a locally regulated isolated wetland. The closest work was approximately 130 feet from the stream and about 25 to 30 feet from the wetland. The commission approved a waiver to the 40-foot no-build setback. Whoops, that's wrong. So it's, and also on the 20-foot no disturb setback. I should also say that. And then conditions. Condition 2 is a requirement for erosion controls, which would be wattles with silt fence, filter socks, or staked hay bales. Condition 3 is the requirement for excavated soil and any construction or demolition material be removed from site in a legal manner. Condition 4 is no stockpiling within 20 feet of either the wetland or the street. Condition 5 is prohibition on tracking in the street or cleaning it up if there is tracking. Condition 6 is a prohibition on any filling or grading. Condition 7 is a prohibition on altering that wetland. Condition 8 is rooftop runoff shall be infiltrated on the lot and not discharged into the roadway or the adjacent lots. So that's referring to the roof of the addition. If you're not changing in the driveway, I believe. So, and then conditions 9 and 10 are standard conditions about the commission's right to inspect the site during the project and non-compliance.
Okay, any questions? These are pretty standard conditions. No.
Just a quick question.
Yes.
Is there infiltration system would be there?
There's not a proposed infiltration system.
Nothing.
Probably not, because
I don't think an infiltration system would not work on this lot. The water table is much too high. And the addition's in the back, so it's not going to go onto pavement or anything like that. It'll probably just go into the isolated wetland along with the sump pump water.
probably because it's existing pavement or existing driveway, it probably wouldn't even, when I went by, it didn't even, they're not ripping up the driveway. It's
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so nothing further from the commission? Could I have a motion to issue a negative conditional determination for the project at 5 Phillip Ave under Burlington Bylaw, Article 14, of the State Wetlands Protection Act?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? 600. You're all set.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks for coming in. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
All right, next, we have item 4C. Notice is given, the commission will hold a public meeting during which time we have a request for determination of applicability filed by Robert Delian for the proposed construction of a second-story residential addition within the riverfront area bordering land subject to flooding and the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetative wetlands and bank located at 27 Hilltop Drive. The commission will thereafter hear what is said and issue a determination. The application's being heard under the State Wetlands Protection Act and Burlington's Bylaw, Article 14, and the application, you may get a copy of the application by writing to email at conservation@burlington.org. Someone here for that one, 27? Hi there.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Good evening, members of the board.
So please feel free to introduce yourself, and you can give any summary you would like.
Hi, my name is Paul Catalano, and I'm the builder hired by Jessica and Rob. They could not make it this evening. They have been struck with a case of COVID, the whole house.
Oh,
They
gee.
informed me today, so I'm here on spot duty. We originally had proposed an addition off the back, and it wasn't allowed because of the conditions, the level of water, I guess, how high the water table is. And it's right in the wetlands area, so we proposed the second level, and we're hoping that you will approve that this evening.
Sure. Okay, so either Eileen or John will give us a summary?
It'll be me, and there's not very much to add. That was a good summary. As he said, they were originally proposing to do an addition out the back, and as you can see here, this blue, the light blue, is all flood zone, and the stripy shade there is floodway. They're actually very, very, very close to Sandy Brook, and it's an area that does regularly flood in this particular case. So they instead proposed to go up, which is fine, and I don't think you'll have any issue with that. They were not proposing to actually do any structures within the floodplain, so they weren't going to have to do any compensatory flood storage. However, they are going to be doing a building project 15 feet from the stream, so they're going to have construction material. They're going to be stockpiling. So we thought it was wiser to have them file and just see what you thought, so that you can condition some erosion controls and whatever else you see fit. And rooftop infiltration. It will be tricky to do, but if they contact us, we can talk to them about what they might possibly do there. It'll be impossible, basically, to do underground infiltration.
Yes,
Well, not impossible. It just
something like a shallow stone trench of some sort?
It might be something like that. Yeah.
Or a rain garden, or who knows?
Rain garden, maybe? Sure. Okay, questions, we'll start with Kent. Any further questions on this one?
Nothing to add.
Okay, and Indra?
No, since it's going up, right, second floor, so.
Right, Rob?
Nope.
And Sarah?
No.
And Ed?
Nothing.
Okay, so I suppose we will condition stockpiling within so many feet of the stream?
Yes, I think what we would like to do, what they were probably going to do anyway, is to have their stockpiling on the other side of the house, right?
Right.
And I think they're completely open to any of those measures. And putting up erosion controls. Funnily enough, on your plan, you had said something about erosion controls 20 feet from the house, but the house is only 15 feet from the stream. So that'll be tricky. But anyway, something in between the house and the stream is what they will need to do.
All right, so we got any comment from anyone else on this one, 27 Hilltop? Nope, so let's, Eileen or John will review it, the draft.
Yeah, I'm just sharing it on the screen now, just making sure it came up.
Okay.
So as it says, the applicant proposed to construct an addition to the rear and a farmer's porch on the front and a patio? Is there a patio? That can't be right. This must be this is wrong.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was Philip Ave. I'm back in the last one. Sorry about that. I do want to save those changes, but that wasn't the one. This is your one. Hilltop. Sorry. Second-story addition to an existing house. No change in the house footprint was proposed, and as we described, it's within the riverfront of Sandy Brook, BLSF, the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetland and to bank, and the work would be about 15 feet from the stream. The commission will have to vote, sorry, we should have talked about that. I should have talked about that. You will have to vote to waive the setbacks in this case as well, since it is technically work within the 20 and 40 feet, but it's vertical.
But it's not new work. It's not new area. So there's no intrusion.
They do have to vote, don't they?
It's up to you. I mean, it's construction within the no-build, but it's vertical.
But yes, it's not on the ground. I think we're just covering everything there. Is that okay? We can talk about it in a minute.
It's discretionary whether or not it's needed.
Yeah.
Okay.
It may be more than is needed, but then they're covered. So as we said, a sediment barrier shall be installed before construction and shall be inspected by conservation staff. They should go between the house and the stream and around the back. All construction, demolition materials shall be disposed of off-site in a legal manner. No stockpiling of materials within 50 feet of the wetlands or of the stream. Rooftop runoff shall not be discharged to pavement of the stream, and they can work with us on how they might best be able to do that given the high groundwater table. No tracking of sediments onto public roadways, and then that should be cleaned if anything happens. No filling or grading of the property under this decision. No removal of vegetation is allowed. Nothing should be dumped in the vegetated wetlands or the stream. No pesticides, herbicides, fungicides should be used within the wetlands or within 100 feet of wetlands unless otherwise approved by the Commission. And the last two are just the standard conditions about being allowed to just check on the proceeding, inspect the site.
Okay, any questions or changes or additions to the few conditions on this one? Sir, did you have any questions at all on it?
No,
It's standard stuff, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Do you want to discuss the waivers?
Well, we can easily just do a motion if you think we want to cover the bases. The existing house is in the no disturb and the no build, right?
Yeah.
So, based on the fact that the existing house is already in the no disturb and the no build zone, and the proposed construction is vertical, I would like to entertain a motion to provide a waiver for that set of circumstances into those zones.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? 600. That was easy. All right. So if there's nothing further, could I then have a motion to issue a negative conditional determination for the project at 27 Hilltop Drive under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 in the State Wetlands Protection Act?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? 600. You're all set?
Thank you, board members.
Sure thing. Good luck with the project, sir. Okay, next we're on item 4D. Notice is given, the commission will hold a public meeting during which time we'll have a request for determination of applicability filed by Dennis Pothier for the proposed removal of 7 trees within the riverfront area and the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetative wetland and bank. It's located at 39 Eugene Road, and the commission will thereafter issue a determination. The application is being heard under the State Wetlands Protection Act and Burlington Bylaw Article 14, and a copy of the application available by writing to conservation@burlington.org. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you as well.
So, you go through the introduction, say who you are in relation to the property, and then you can give a summary as much as you want to speak.
Okay. All right. My name is Dennis Pothier. I'm the owner of 39 Eugene Road, Burlington. We are proposing to remove 7 trees from our backyard. They're within the fenced lawn area, but, pretty close to the wetlands. They're all pretty, old and unhealthy trees. We had an arborist come look at them and recommended that they should all be removed at this point.
And you're done, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. You can be as short as you want.
Okay.
All right. So, Eileen or John, you have comments on this one? They were proposing to remove 7 trees.
Right, well, I'll be pretty brief too. So as you can see in the aerials that I'm showing, you can actually see this dark line is where the stream is running through part of his yard. It's shown here as the red line, which is what I use to designate regulatory streams on my GIS, and the cross-hatched area is approximate wetland. So the wetland is fairly close, probably to the fence, but not as close, I think, as it seems in this aerial. So all of the trees that he's proposing to remove are within the fenced area that most of us saw yesterday. There are 7. He had an arborist come out and look at them, and they're all older. I think you said your grandfather planted a lot of them 60-something years ago. In 65, sorry, not 65 years ago, but in 65. Some of them have damage like this that's shown with, insect damage, and some, what was the wording?
Included bark.
The included bark. I think that there was one that you might want to discuss, which was the oak up closer to the house, but I can understand, I know that it's actually, that oak doesn't seem to be in particularly poor shape, but it is close to the house, so I understand that he is concerned that if that goes, or if a large branch from that goes, it's probably, it's the closest to the house. So that's it.
For our bedroom, so.
And directly over their bedroom.
Okay. All right. Ed, you want to start? Any questions?
No, was it Bartlett that gave us the pictures on this property? Was that for that?
I think I sent you something from them. They weren't
Very educational.
They weren't the consultants on this project. I just Googled included bark and found that on them. And so the oak closest to the house actually had the included bark in that fork.
Oh, it did, this one here, that's right there.
That was very helpful, but I haven't...
Apparently, the article seemed to say that if you have a tree with a occluded bark, which looks like damage in the V, the crotch of it,
Right.
that it weakens the tree, is what he seemed to say. And apparently, that's a real thing, even though I don't think we really knew what it was when we saw that.
Matter of the clock ticking.
Yes. Okay, Sarah?
I'm not an arborist, so I don't really know what I'm talking about, but the tree, the black oak, looked healthy to me, just eyeballing it. I wondered if you got a second opinion of somebody who might be able to save the tree by some kind of mitigation, whatever issues are wrong with it. I know my own neighbor had a person who had a vested interest in cutting a tree down said, oh, that one's got to go, and he hired somebody else who was more of a tree doctor type of person who said it actually can be saved by doing this and that, and was able to save the tree. I totally understand not wanting a big branch to fall in your bedroom. That sounds terrifying, but is there anything else other than cutting it down, or is that your only recourse?
I mean, I didn't speak to any other arborist, to be honest. I just kind of went by what he said, but he made mention that I guess with the included bark, that there's not like wood-to-wood contact.
Yeah, that makes sense, that it's bark to bark, and it wouldn't be as tight of a bond, but, I mean,
So the article that I sent, there are alternatives. You could cable the branches that would strengthen them.
Bartlett tree does cable them, the big limbs.
Yeah.
To stabilize them, because they did it on a couple of my trees.
Yeah.
And you might want to call someone else and ask them, who you call is up to you, but I used Bartlett, and they did cable my trees that had a very branching structure to hold them up during the winter to help stabilize them.
Okay.
So maybe you can coordinate with the office on that, like you could get someone to take a look and write a little something, and the office could be authorized to have the tree taken down if nothing can be done.
Okay.
Does that sound reasonable? Sure. Okay. Rob?
I just was wondering, from the perspective, is the chain link, does it go across the stream, or is that on the side yard?
No, it's quite far. So I think in that middle picture there, you can see the chain link, and the stream isn't even visible.
Yeah, the stream is back behind that, maybe another,
Okay, so this seems like much farther behind.
yeah.
The fence is probably halfway, splits the yard in half.
Okay.
So there's quite a bit of land behind the fence.
And that is all pretty heavily treed, and those are all remaining, just to reassure you with that.
Okay.
Everything he's proposing to take out is in the yard closer to the house, and we didn't mention this, but he is very open to replanting. He's just concerned about these particular older trees.
The middle picture there, that's looking out.
This middle picture here is looking beyond towards the stream, yes. Yeah.
Okay, and
My comments echoed your comments.
okay, good. Thank you, Andrew. Kent?
No, the report that Marquis, the arborist, was pretty helpful, detailed by each tree, so that was pretty helpful.
So, John or Eileen, John, maybe, I saw you ran a stream stats report. Could you explain one of you explain to the commission how this analysis is used? Because it's something you ran, is that correct?
Right. So I was just curious whether or not the stream is perennial. So if it's perennial, then it has a riverfront area under the Rivers Protection Act, the Rivers Protect, the DEP wetland regulations. If it's intermittent, it doesn't have a riverfront area under the state wetland regulations. It is a regulatory stream under our bylaw, though. It's shown on our regulatory streams map. So Stream Stats is a program by USGS, which determines basically what we use is a 99 flow rate duration. So it'll tell you whether or not a stream is flowing 99% of the time. And if it is, if it's at 0.01% or flow at 99%, it's considered perennial. And it bases that on watershed size, the composition of the soils in the watershed, slopes, takes a bunch of different variables like that and calculates the probability that there'll be water flowing. So in the wetland regs, that's one of the methods to determine whether or not a stream is perennial or intermittent. So in this case, the flow rate was low, it was under the threshold, and the watershed size was pretty small. Generally, a watershed has to be like half a square mile or more to support a perennial stream. And it was
So the
much under that.
99% duration has a value of 0.00524 cubic feet per second.
Right, and it has to be 0.01 to be considered
Okay,
perennial.
so this is about half.
Yeah,
Okay, so it was considered only an intermittent stream
right.
for that reason. That's how it's used.
But it does have a riverfront area anyway under our bylaw.
Right, because it's a regulatory stream on our regulatory map.
Correct.
We have a map that has all the streams listed that we got through at town meeting, right? And if it's on that map, we deemed it important enough to be regulated under the bylaw. Okay. All right, thank you for that information. Okay, so is there any other questions by anybody on this? If not, we have a draft. Anyone else who has any comment or question for 39 Eugene Road? The answer is no. So we have a draft decision to look at.
We are, and it looks like we're going to have to change it a little bit. So the project description and jurisdictional areas and findings are as we all just described. John ran the stream stats. We just estimated the distance from the stream and the BVW, since we didn't go behind the fence and actually walk it and measure it. So it's approximately 50 feet from the stream and 30 feet from the BVW. That was really just an estimate. It did include an evaluation of the trees from a certified arborist. So this, at the moment, is saying that you're going to allow him to take down the 7 trees. However, this may have to be tweaked based on what you said, to say that...
We'll proceed with 6 tree removals. The 7th tree will be evaluated by getting another arborist to take a look at it, and if it can be cabled or something to give you more comfort that it's not going to come down.
Yep.
Otherwise, get something in writing from them, and if you can, and talk to the office, and they'll decide with you jointly one way or the other.
Okay, so I won't have to file things again? Just
Oh, no.
No. Yeah, you would come back just through staff, right? You're okay with that?
Yeah, just staff. Just deal with it offline.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to add something in there about applicant will ask a second arborist to reevaluate the black oak closest to the house. I'll add another sentence just to say the rest of what you said, but in summary. And then removal of any other trees will require additional approval from the commissioner or administrator and would require a submission of a written assessment. For trees that are not feasible to do by hand, machinery shall be located in the driveway or existing lawn areas. So that just means don't drive anything back in behind the fence. No fewer than 7, or I suppose we could say 6 native trees would be planted as mitigation. I missed the bit about the stumps. Do not remove the stumps without prior approval from the commission or administrator. And then the standard ones are about not dumping anything in the wetlands or the stream, and do not use pesticides, fungicides, or herbicides within 100 feet of a wetlands or stream, unless otherwise approved by the commission. And we may just come and take a look at the trees coming down when it's happening.
Okay. I have a question about the replacement 7 trees. Would some native shrubs be optional? Like if the 2 smaller trees, if we replace those with native shrubs? Is that an option? Do they have to be trees?
To me, it's a question of how important it is to the wetland. The ones farther away, the way I would see it, the ones farther away might be a little less important to the wetlands. The ones that are closer all along the fence, though, might be considered more important. John, or Elaine, you want to weigh in on that?
Well, 2 of the trees, one including the black oak, were closer to the house. The rest were pretty kind of in a line, or were certainly closer to the fence. He's also leaving all of the trees behind the fence. Do you have something to suggest about, 5 trees and 2 shrubs, like the back ones?
Yeah, I wouldn't go fewer than 5 trees.
So it says 7 now, so I think the discussion just proposed reducing it to 5 trees.
Okay.
Okay.
Plus a couple of shrubs?
And a couple of shrubs. Native shrubs. Yeah.
And is the value of those trees, is that a 1-to-1 replacement?
Yeah, well, that's 7 possibly being taken out, 7 things being replaced. Okay.
Oops, shrubby.
You have more to go through at all?
Nope, that was it.
Okay.
I think you have to change that 7 to 5, right?
Yep, just did it.
Okay. Anything further from anyone on this? All right, could I have a motion to issue a negative conditional determination for the project at 39 Eugene Road under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 in the state law? So moved. Second?
Second.
All in favor? 600. Bartlett Tree, they do a lot of tree maintenance.
Yeah.
At least the one in Billerica does. Yeah, and this is just a tip. I have 2 or 3 of my trees that they come once a year and they actually inject fertilizer, tree fertilizer, into the ground. It made an enormous difference.
Okay.
Like my river birch is like.
And is it suitable for use in like a wetland area that, or?
You can ask him because the guy who runs it is an arborist.
Okay.
And so they do a lot of tree maintenance stuff.
Okay, great.
So, maybe, you can look at other people if you want, but that's my personal
No,
experience.
great, I'm adding it to my notes now, thank you.
Yeah.
I would guess Marquis probably does. I mean, they're pretty big. I've had them do work for me. Not that particular type, but that's a big company, so I would be shocked if they didn't do something like Larry's suggesting.
Okay, great.
Yeah. I mean,
And the cabling too, like you were saying about
these
that.
tree places, they have specialties. Like some specialize in the removal of really large trees. That's the kind of job they go after.
Yeah.
And some of them do more tree maintenance and trimming and, small cutting and stuff.
I'll definitely reach out to Bartlett.
Okay. Did I take the vote yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all set.
Oh, we did? I didn't write it down.
I think you're all set.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I
Thanks,
appreciate
good luck.
your time.
Have a great night. Good luck,
Thank you.
project.
I'm sure we took the vote, right?
Okay, here is this to sign. All right, so I got this.
For the minute.
This. All right, we have item 5E we're on. Notice is given, the commission will hold a meeting. We will hear a request for determination of applicability filed by Bob's Discount Furniture for the proposed construction of a loading ramp within the riverfront area and the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetative wetlands and bank. It's located at 51 Middlesex Turnpike. It's the old Bed Bath & Beyond facility. And we will thereafter issue a determination. The application's being heard under Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, which is the Wetlands Protection Act, and Burlington Bylaw, Article 14. And you may obtain a copy of the application by writing to conservation@burlington.org. So we have someone from this project?
I see Bob's here.
Oh, my God.
Who's here?
There's a Bob on here.
Hi, good evening. I'm Tim Lucas. I'm the Vice President of Construction for Bob's Discount Furniture. Thank you for having us with you this evening. It's a pleasure to be here virtually. I have with me our architect for the project, John Hassan from 3GHC Architects, and Brian, our permit expediter from Permit Advisors. John, if you want to give a little bit of a summary of the project, if you would, for the commission members, please.
Certainly. Good evening, everyone. My name is John Hassan. I am with 3GHC Architects. The project consists of a new loading ramp. It'll be located on the east side of the building towards the rear, which is where the existing loading dock doors are currently. We are taking the old trash compactor door and converting it into a loading door with this proposed ramp, and there is a set of steps adjacent to the ramp. The ramp is going to be constructed out of galvanized metal, which will allow the water to drain through it and under it. And it'll have perforated holes in it to allow the water to drain through. It'll have galvanized railings on both sides, and it is approximately 32 foot long, which includes a 5-foot landing at the top. The ramp itself will be 8 foot wide, and the stairs adjacent to it are 7 foot 9 inches wide. It'll have a small little roof over it to protect anyone from the weather while they're standing on the landing. And that basically is the ramp itself is what is entailed.
Okay, thank you. All right.
John, you want to give us comments if you have any?
Sure.
Can you go back to the site plan?
Sure. Okay, so the work is within the riverfront area of Vinebrook. The site plan actually has flagging on here. I'm not sure if they took that from a previous, you didn't actually put out new flags for this project, I don't believe, right?
That's correct. This is
taken off of a previous plan.
Correct.
Okay, but so the loading dock work is on a currently paved area, so there's no increase in impervious area there. They're replacing concrete stairs at the back, same size stairs, no increase in impervious area there. There will be some land disturbance, not for the loading dock, because that'll just be placed on top of existing asphalt. But the stairs, they'll have to dig up. They're putting in a new footings and pad for the concrete stairs, I believe. So that'll be the only area of land disturbance. So the work is, like I said, within riverfront area to Vinebrook, and it's also in buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands. There is bordering land subject to flooding on the property, but they're not really anywhere near that with this work. They are not proposing any improvements to riverfront area. However, the applicant is not the property owner. They're just a tenant, so they're probably not, they don't have a lot of ability to control the site. And as the commission noted when they were out at the site, there is debris behind the building, which isn't unusual. We've had other projects out here on other occasions to ask the owner to do a cleanup back there. And once again, I think that's necessary.
Right. Okay. All right, anything on this one, on loading ramp? Andrew, anything? And Rob? And Sarah?
Just to ask that you take care of the oak at the corner of the building. Particularly nice oak tree there, right near where you'll be doing the work on the staircase. I don't think it's going to be impacted, just throw that out there. I don't have any concerns.
All right, and Ed?
Was there, I know John you mentioned no improvements, but would they be doing any kind of sidewalk once everything's done off that staircase? Just going out the dirt, I didn't know if there was anything planned.
There's nothing planned for the bottom of the stairs. We were going to just replace them in kind, basically, with more code appropriate stairs.
But no additional pavement.
Correct.
All right. All right, and when we issue a negative conditional determination, does it go to the property owner to responsibility? Or I would think the owner of the property has responsibility for complying, is that correct?
No, the applicant has responsibility for complying with the determination, the conditions of the determination. The owner gets a copy of the determination, but
So I can speak to that briefly. Our lease with our landlord requires the landlord to maintain the property around the building and around the rest of the property that they own. We have communicated with them, and they have indicated that they don't have a problem with ongoing maintenance and cleaning up of a minor amount of debris that was identified during your site walk. So they're prepared to do that. Again, you can make that condition and impose that condition on us, but through our release, it will be the landlord's responsibility to actually take care of that.
Thank you for your comments. I guess you knew exactly
where I was going with that one. Okay. All right, so that takes care of that. So is there anyone else who has a comment? This is for the property at 51 Middlesex Turnpike, also known as 3 Abbott Park. Nope. So we have a proposed draft negative conditional determination, and I'll ask Eileen or John to give us a quick rundown.
Okay, so once again, the project description is install a loading ramp over a paved portion of the parking lot, replace the concrete stairs, and remove a canopy in front of the building. Work is within the riverfront area in the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands. No increase in impervious area was proposed. Also, no improvements to the riverfront area were proposed. The only land disturbance was for the pad for the new stairs. Conditions, condition 2 is the requirement for erosion controls. That would be around the stairs area. Any excavated pavement or soil shall be disposed of in a legal manner. No tracking sediments onto public roadways. No dewatering without an approved plan from the Conservation Commission. No cutting of trees or vegetation. As existing debris, including the tires, shall be cleaned up. Any other future exterior construction on the site that involves land disturbance, changes to pavement, or vegetation management shall require a new filing with the Conservation Commission. Members of the commission have the right to enter the property to do inspections, and then condition 10 is a standard condition about non-compliance.
All right, any changes from the commission at all? All right, could we just, for number 7, add, because we've always had historically issues with debris in the wetlands in this location, could we add a sentence that talks about a continuing condition to routinely maintain the area, to police the area?
Well, we can. A determination expires in 3 years, but...
I know, it's a minor benefit, because the only way you get at that if there's a problem is either ask them or you do an enforcement order. But I just thought where we've had a continuing issue anyway.
I mean, it doesn't hurt. It's just not enforceable after 3 years.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I knew that.
Yeah.
But since these gentlemen said the owner is going to get a copy of it, or you said he was getting a copy of it, so if he's going to look at it, maybe it will jog their memory to do something on a regular basis. Okay. If there's nothing further, could I have a motion to issue a negative conditional determination for the project at 51 Middlesex Turnpike, also called 3 Abbott Park, under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 of the State Wetlands Protection Act.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? 600. It's all set. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
I have to change the word. Just to
Thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Take care. Good luck with the project.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll skip down to item number 5. This is a continuation of a public hearing, notice of intent, 36 Cambridge Street. It's the demolition and the reconstruction of a new building for the Salem 5 Bank. Someone here for that one?
Yep, good evening. Matt O'Bacy with Bowling Green, representing Salem 5.
Good evening.
Good evening. So I guess I'll just give a quick presentation. So we met back in November. It was our second hearing. I think we had generally gone through some of the changes we had made, which was plantings along the riverfront, some rain gardens and additional stormwater improvements. And you were nice enough to give us a recommendation to the planning board, which is now closed. And we're here hopefully to just close out that discussion. I think we did provide a couple of minor updates and some stormwater info to Eileen. I know she has some questions about an updated stormwater checklist for some of the stormwater improvements we made, and also some TSS removal calculations. So happy to run through that stuff if the board would like.
Okay, let's first hear the comments from
The staff, and then, anything that comes up, we'll discuss and see if we can negotiate a solution.
I can take this one. So as we were preparing the draft decision, we went through the application again and noted that there were things that we needed that weren't in the application, like stormwater report wasn't really complete, and the table for total suspended solids removal wasn't included. So we asked them for that information. Then when we got that information, we realized that we sort of missed an important feature of the site in that, the commission got some significant improvements to stormwater on this site with the addition of 2 new rain gardens, which will be handling stormwater which originally just flowed into a catch basin and right into the brook. Unfortunately, those areas only capture about 1/3 of the site. 2/3 of the site flows, 2/3 of the stormwater from the site, or actually the area, 2/3 of the area of the site flows to the south and off the property into the adjacent property owned by Crossroads Plaza. Edens and Avant. Edens, right. So where there's a catch basin, not owned by Salem 5, so the stormwater flows off the site into the catch basin owned by the abutting property. So that water is not being treated at all. It's going into that catch basin and then into the brook. And we didn't really, until we started looking at the TSS removal table, we didn't really click in our minds that such a significant area. I mean, I realized that some of it was flowing off in that area, but it's a significant portion. It's about 62% of the site is not being treated. So it is a redevelopment project, so you've got some discretion on that. They're certainly making improvements. They've reduced the impervious area. They put in 2 rain gardens, but there's still a significant portion of the site where just the installation of one structure in the southeast corner could make a significant improvement on the removal of some of the total suspended solids leaving the site.
Okay. All right, so...
And then once again, I apologize that it took so long. I mean, this project's been going, this is the 3rd hearing, and we probably should have caught that earlier, but there was some information missing in the filing, and we didn't really realize it until like yesterday.
Right. All right. So it seems to me maybe we should blow up the diagram, maybe even a little bit more, and let's talk with these folks about what could be done to improve the degree of total solids removal from the entire site. All right. So, would you like to start?
Yeah, I don't mind starting at all. So I certainly understand that in John's or question or comments, I guess. We first looked at this. This was a reduction in impervious surface. John and Eileen had made.
Let me ask you before you continue, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can we give them control so he can use a pointer?
Oh, sure.
Then he would have to share the plans himself. Do you have the plans nearby?
I do, yeah, in my computer.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Because I think it would be helpful for the commission to understand where you're talking or unless,
Be allowed to.
or Eileen could point, I mean.
We can't, we're just, since WebEx changed, I'm just not sure he's got that. Well, he can give it a go. Let me stop sharing, and if he's able to share, he'll share. Okay.
Did you give him control?
This is Tim, right?
Do you have to make him host to do it?
It's Matt, isn't it? You might have to make him a host. Matt Bombachi.
Oh, there he is, okay.
What's that?
Yeah, we might have to make you
Can you make a
presenter or something.
co-host?
Well, I had to make myself a presenter earlier, so. Are you able to share?
Okay, you're a presenter now.
Okay.
Yeah, I can share.
And then blow it up as much as you can.
Yeah, so as I was saying, we initially said this project as a decrease in pavement. I thought John and Eileen had a great comment, which was, well, could you provide some stormwater treatment? So that's where we had identified these two larger landscaped areas where we could provide the rain garden. So the areas they collect is this rain garden collects this area here. This rain garden here, this area kind of in this back corner here. There is the portions of the driveway coming in. So this portion here discharges to a catch basin offsite, as they were saying, and this portion at the plan south along here actually discharges to a catch basin on site, and then out to a manhole to the same ultimate point out. So I'm not quite sure what John's might have been suggesting with the structure. We do have a large bulk of the runoff that does collect into a catch basin on site that we have control of and out. If that was the structure he was thinking he might suggest would be improved. I guess the reason we had selected these two areas was they were the landscape areas we had to provide the rain garden areas at good locations, and attempt to just do as much as we could as far as that goes.
So what
can be done in, even blow it up a little bit more, go up one more level. Yeah, so what can be done in that area that's right where the driveway enters, correct?
Yeah, right there. Yeah. So I mean, I believe that existing catch basin is not a deep sump catch basin as it exists. So I guess perhaps putting a deep sump and a hood on that catch basin would help with TSS removal and a collection of sediment and trash. I know there's also street sweeping.
That's an existing catch basin?
It is. Yeah, here that we were proposing to reuse.
So that gives a 25% removal, right?
Correct.
Something like that?
Yep.
So I'm gonna pause for a minute, let John talk.
You're referring to the catch basin with a rim of 134.9?
Correct, yeah, right here.
Okay. There's another catch basin. The catch basin offsite I was referring to was the one further to the
here.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so that one has no sump, the one on your property?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, so there's a solution for an improvement to 4-foot sump on that catch basin.
That's better than 10 minutes ago.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, and that catch basin discharges, does it tie into the other catch basin at all, or it just discharges?
I believe they both tie into the same manhole, which they ultimately discharges up to low.
The little one. All right, John, how does that sound to you?
Looks good.
Okay? All right, so would we ask them to resubmit the table for TSS removal?
Yeah, I mean, I think this being the third hearing, you could probably close and we could condition that they submit a revised plan with that catch basin being replaced and a TSS removal new table, but I wouldn't continue to a fourth hearing for that as long as they're agreeing to replace the catch basin.
No. I think they are agreeing. Right. Okay.
Yep.
All right. All right, so are there any other issues we should take up while the hearing's open?
I would be questioning, I didn't bring this up, I always seem to be the one that brings that question up. Snow removal, based on catch basins, where would you favor stockpiling snow?
I would guess we would favor these locations along the back here, and along the side. Obviously, they're not going to walk pile too high along the road, but I would imagine these nice deep islands on the site, there's plenty of room. I guess the concern would be just obviously we want to plow over this curb and then off in this direction.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, that's
Done.
the furthest away from the stream, I guess.
Yes.
All right, any other questions? Do we need, on this site, do we need any increased frequency of street sweeping or
I think we put something into the,
decision?
I think we did.
All right, and I assume we have some kind of management of prohibition of herbicides and pesticides, stuff like that? I can put it in.
Yeah, those are standard.
They
They're
are
probably in
standard.
there, I'm sure.
All right, we'll go through
Plus,
this.
we also pretty sure we mentioned snow as well.
Yep.
Avoiding the area with the bioretention basins and near the brook.
Right.
So that kind of,
Covers
thought
it.
that was easy. So can I just mention that it's relevant to this that I just, because of this project, I just reached out recently to Eden's 34 Cambridge Street because remember I've been trying to get better about getting maintenance records, and they just sent me maintenance records for that particular property for cleaning of 9 catch basins every quarter, and for other properties that they own around town. So that's the 2023 catch basins, and I have the 2022 as well. So they are cleaning them.
Excellent. That's good. That's an improvement over previous years way back.
Well, they might have been doing it, but we just weren't getting records.
That's true. We don't know if they were doing it, right? Okay. All right. So any other questions from anyone? Then is there anyone in the audience that has a question for the Salem 5 Bank, which
Oh, I
is
guess you should. That's your thing.
Project 36 Cambridge Street? Oh, okay. So let's review the draft.
I'll have to find it.
Findings and decisions.
Okay, so I'll start with the findings. So we'll be updating some of the plans of record to incorporate the plans, which, so we can't actually get this decision out the door until you get us the revised plans so that we can reference the proper dates. So, so hopefully you can get those to us early next week.
Yeah, no problem. Certainly before the holidays, it'll never happen. So.
Okay. Wetland, so we've already discussed the work is in the riverfront area. It's part of the work is in the buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands. The brook is actually off the site, but the riverfront area extends into the site. This is a redevelopment project. It's actually a redevelopment project under the riverfront regulations and under the stormwater regulations. Approximately 17,000 square feet is currently paved. After development, there'll be a reduction of about 14.8% of impervious, or 2,600 square feet. The commission finds there's no practicable or substantially equivalent economic alternatives with less adverse impact. So once again, under stormwater management, it is a redevelopment project. They're meeting the standards to the maximum extent practicable now. It will not meet the 80% TSS removal overall. We'll see what it does meet. So in the areas where the rain gardens are, they're reaching the 80% with the new deep sump catch basin. It's probably going to be on the order of like 25%. But it's probably zero now. So overall, I'm not sure what the weighted value will be. Probably, in the order of 50 or 60% TSS removal. So the permit under the Wetlands Protection Bylaw also serves as a permit under Burlington's Stormwater Bylaw. That's it for the findings. The decision under the bylaw includes Condition 2, which is a proposal for a $10,000 surety. And that's about it for the bylaw decision. For the order of conditions, once again, we'll have to update the plan references under condition 21. It's fairly standard conditions, so the permits work within the 100-foot buffer zone and riverfront area to Little Brook. No alteration of any resource area or bordering vegetated wetlands is permitted under this decision. Pre-construction conditions are standard about written notification, putting up the DEP signs, so all the standard conditions. Erosion control conditions start with 32. They're fairly standard as well. Condition 33 is a prohibition on stockpiling within 40 feet of the wetlands of the brook. Condition 34 is regarding dewatering. It's quite possible they'll have to dewater for the structures. Catch basins need to be protected within 100 feet of the work. Pollution control conditions are all standard, and the applicant, you've seen these already, right? I'm flying through them, but we did send them to you this afternoon, right?
I have seen them.
Yeah, okay. Stormwater management conditions. 45 includes a requirement to adhere to the O&M plan that was submitted. And that condition is a perpetual condition that'll survive the certificate of compliance.
Can I just interrupt, just to say on 45, we might add in something to say, it says shall drain to the existing drainage system, but we'll put something in about, they'll add a new deep sump catch basin, something like that?
Yeah.
That's, okay.
Yeah.
I'll just highlight that, so we do that.
46 is a perpetual condition about the prohibition of the use of sodium chloride on the site. 47 is a condition about snow storage. No snow storage in the bioretention basins or along the eastern swale adjacent to Little's Brook, nor shall snow be pushed onto the bank. No snow storage allowed signs shall be installed along the eastern side of the drive-through. The O&M plan shall be revised to schedule parking lot sweeping 4 times per year if sanding is to be used as part of winter maintenance. And the O&M plan shall be recorded at the Middlesex Registry of Deeds prior to conservation sign-off on a certificate of occupancy. 40, the buffer zone and riverfront area restoration includes the plantings, 84 shrubs, 8 trees. And that area needs to be left in perpetuity as noted as a perpetual condition. 50 is the prohibition on planting invasive species as also in a perpetual condition. And then basically what needs to be done to get the certificate of occupancy and the certificate of compliance.
Okay, any changes from anyone? Anyone see anything that needs to be added? I think everything we talked about seems to be covered here. Looks pretty complete. All right.
No salt area?
What was that, Ed?
Do we have any bylaw on that?
So there's a prohibition on sodium chloride. They can use other salts, but they can't use sodium chloride. Unless you're adjacent to Vine Brook, the bylaws prohibit the use of any chlorides adjacent to Vine Brook, but this is Little's Brook, so. water supply. It's not heavily enforced, that bylaw, but that's what the bylaw says anyway.
Okay. All right, so therefore, let's move along. Could I have a motion to close the hearing for DEP file number 122-693?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, 600, the hearing is closed. Could I have a motion to adopt the findings under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 for the project at 36 Cambridge Street, DEP file number 122-693?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? 600. Could I have a motion to issue the order of conditions under both Burlington Bylaw Article 14 and the State Wetlands Protection Act for 36 Cambridge Street, DEP file number 122-693?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? 600. Could I have a motion to require the posting of performance surety of $10,000 under authority of Burlington Bylaw Article 14 for 36 Cambridge Street, DEP file number 122-693?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Do we need any discussion before we vote? All in favor? 600. All right, gentlemen, you're all set.
Awesome. Thanks so much for all your time. I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you for all your effort. We appreciate that.
Yep.
Good night. Okay. We're on item number 6. Notice is given that the commission will hold a public hearing, during which time we'll take all information related to an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation filed by Eversource Energy, it says Peter DeFusco, for the review and approval of the boundaries of bordering vegetative wetlands, isolated wetlands, and stream bank along the Eversource right-of-way. The right-of-way is located between Wynn Street and Town Line Road. The application is being heard under the State Wetlands Protection Act and Burlington Bylaw Article 14. The commission will review all information relative to the application and therefore then issue an order of resource area delineation. The application may be viewed on the Conservation Commission website at the indicated link. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is David Hallowell, and Polina Saffron is with me from SWCA Environmental Consultants, here on behalf of Eversource tonight. We are here to present our wetland delineation for review and approval, along with jurisdictional determinations on some of the streams out there. And I can...
Well, okay, is this what you meant, because, or did you mean something else? When it appears?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
That's it. If you wouldn't mind just going to the cover page to start.
Oh, the whole thing? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I knew where these were starting.
Oh, I'm sorry, the cover page of the plan set.
Okay, go back to where I was. Okay, approximately here.
Perfect.
Oh, this one.
Right there.
That's what you want.
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah. Great. So the area where we're seeking review of the wetland line is at the intersection of two Eversource right-of-ways. As you can see, there's sort of a, I'm going to generalize and say there's a right-of-way that heads east to west and a right-of-way more north to south going up along Mill Pond Reservoir. Eversource either has rights through easement on these right-of-ways, or they own some of the properties along the right-of-ways. At the intersection of the two right-of-ways, there's a 8.5 roughly acre parcel where Eversource owns that as well. And so we've delineated the areas around this portion of the two right-of-ways This work is really in preparation for a project that Eversource is looking into, the Burlington Woburn Supply Initiative project. We're in the early planning stages for this, for that project itself, but tonight we're just here to present the wetland lines. There's no work proposed as part of this filing.
Could you tell us what the purpose of that project that you're planning is?
Essentially, there's, Eversource has found that there is a supply, basically a supply issue, a load issue in the greater Burlington area, and they're looking into solutions to increase, in particular, the distribution supply in the area. So there certainly will be more coming. I believe some of the outreach folks from Eversource have been communicating with the town, so you may have heard already about some aspects of the project. So.
Okay, good, thank you.
Yeah. If you wouldn't mind going to the next page, we can kind of walk through some of this area. So this is more on the western end, heading towards Mill Street. The bulk of this sits between Wynn Street. The access to this parcel is, to this property and to the right-of-way is coming in off of Wynn Street, and then Locust Street is on the other side, and the right-of-way that heads north continues up from there. This is kind of I'll say the western limit of where the project would occur. This right-of-way, as you go up the page, would head out to Mill Street. The property in pink there is you'll see the pink lines around. Those are actually Eversource-owned parcels. The black lines are easements. So if you wouldn't mind just scrolling down.
Want me to go to the next page or just here?
That might be, looking at while I'm talking here. That, where you see that pink triangle start coming in, that's the beginning of the 8.5 acre parcel. Yeah, wonderful, thank you. So we start the intersection with the right-of-way that heads sort of more across Locust Street along the Mill Pond Reservoir. In this area in particular, the Burlington bylaw has what's shown as a river or perennial stream. We looked at all of this area and we found no channel, no discernible stream throughout this area. So as part of our application, we were asking that the commission review this and I guess remove that determination or waive that determination that there is a stream in this area, as we really didn't find any evidence of a stream through here.
Is that here?
It would be kind of right in the center of that wetland and heading all the way up through there. Yeah, exactly. We obviously delineated the areas that Eversource has rights, either, like I said, through fee or through easement. We approximated as best we could the areas outside of their jurisdiction, outside of their property. They would cast buffer zones onto the Eversource property. So we did want to represent that, but obviously could only delineate on Eversource-owned property. As you continue to, if you wouldn't mind just scroll down a little, we're going to get to the edge of the page, but so we did, that's okay, right there, you got it. So as you see kind of on the top of the right-of-way there, yep, there's, we did find a stream channel that heads towards Wynn Street and then sort of dissipates. And then there's another little channel that's straight up from where your cursor is. And that was that dissipates as that heads into the wetland area there. That's really the only, that little sliver is really the only portion of channel, I'll say, that we identified that came close to matching what's shown in the bylaw. Other than that, there was no channel. There's no, right at the end of Sierra Way, and it's probably up on that page, if you go up to the other page. Yeah, perfect. Sierra Way, there's no connection. We weren't able to identify any culverts or anything in there. And then as you head further south, that was the end of our delineation. Yeah, so we weren't extending our delineation. So then we start heading across Locust Street to the north. We're approaching, we've got some isolated wetlands in there. A larger bordering vegetated wetland on the north side of the plan. There's actually culverts on either end of it. Very interesting as you head towards Mill Pond Reservoir. You see the pink circle right before the reservoir. That's actually a culvert that takes any water in from that wetland, and it doesn't contribute directly to Mill Pond. You can continue to scroll up the page. The right-of-way itself crosses the pond. There are existing transmission lines out here, as I'm sure you're aware of. We had another isolated wetland in this area here. And yeah, if you wouldn't mind, continue to scroll down. Another isolated wetland. We approximated another wetland off the right-of-way, and we're now approaching that pink line cutting down the page is the Burlington Town Line. So delineated the right-of-way in there and did identify another sort of segmented stream channel along the back of that wetland. All these channels we found to be intermittent streams. We did run stream stats on them. We did review them in the field. All of that's included in our application, as well as wetland delineation data forms. I can certainly answer any questions that you have.
Okay. John or Eileen, comments? You folks walked it, I gather?
I did, right.
Yes, John.
So the wetland delineation is fine. There was one minor flag change we made down near wetland at the town line, near Town Line Road. I think we eliminated a flag, or did we add a flag?
We moved it up about a foot or two.
Yeah. So we'll need an updated plan.
It's been updated already.
Reincorporated in this, yeah.
The stream that they referenced near, on the wetland closest to Wind Street, near Sierra Way, that had been raised before. 2 or 3 years ago, VHB did an RDA for some work on the transmission lines or something like that, and at that time they told me that they couldn't find the stream, and I looked for the stream with them and couldn't find it. So I would concur that although our maps show a regulatory stream there, there does not appear to be a stream, and feel comfortable, not calling that area riverfront. Other than that, it was, it's obviously a lot of wetlands. What you're going to have to be doing on your order of resource area delineation is approving some flags and basically having findings saying that you generally agree with the locations of wetlands off-site, because they didn't go onto private property and flag wetlands whose buffer zones extend onto their property. So, but we did look at them from their property. And it seemed like they were reasonable approximations of where the wetlands are without actually going into private property and flagging them. As you know, people don't take kindly to having other people go on their property and flag wetlands, so we certainly understand, and I think we can accommodate that in our decision and our findings.
Okay, so there's no issues that they have to come back with other than change the plan for that one, that one flag that was adjusted?
I mean, there's a public hearing, so we didn't plan on closing tonight, and DEP didn't provide us a file number anyway, so even if we had, there's no file number. I just actually checked just now, but I don't have any issues.
All right, so let's see if there's any questions on the delineation. This is only to establish the delineation of record. Kent? Indra?
John, did you walk through with them, the whole project?
Yes. Yeah, we probably spent like an hour and a half or 2 hours going through that. It was, walked from Wynn Street to Town Line Road and back.
Thank you.
All right, Rob? And Sarah?
Is this public land? Like, could I walk it if I wanted, just to take a look? Or is it considered trespassing on your right-of-way?
Yeah, it would technically be trespassing on the right of way.
So if the commission wants to see part of it, we could certainly schedule something between now and the next meeting.
I'd be interested.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend you walk the entire delineation, but if you want to see a representative portion of it.
I'd be curious. I mean, I'm not going to hold
Would that be
things up,
okay
but
to
it's
schedule something like that?
Yeah, we can do that, yeah.
It is kind of like part of that area's national heritage, is that right?
Yeah.
There's like rare plant.
Yeah, there is, on the portion between Locust Street and Wynn Street, as you go towards Mill Street, I shouldn't be giving too specific directions because it is, but yes, there is endangered species habitat there, yes, which they'll have to deal with when they file a notice of intent.
Yeah, and we've already started our coordination with Natural Heritage on that, and we had done some surveys in the early fall. Would likely be out there again in the spring.
Okay. Ed, anything?
Nothing to add.
Anything? No? All right, I have two questions for you. One is, the isolated wetlands that you're showing, were they large enough to be jurisdictional under the bylaw?
Yes.
Yes, on all of them. Is that correct?
Correct.
That's the first question. And the second is, doesn't the state law provide, if it's large enough and it fills enough, to have isolated land subject to flooding? Were any of those, any basins large enough to, and would flood enough to qualify for protection under that?
Maybe the one closest to the reservoir, well, that one, or was that one bordering vegetated wetlands?
Yeah, I was talking about areas, isolated flooding areas.
Yeah.
That is a resource area, but only if it's large enough, as you know.
Right. So we didn't.
And it has to be able to flood to enough depth in order to qualify.
Yeah.
At least it used to be that way.
No, you're correct. It has to be able to hold a quarter acre foot volume.
Did you take a look at that, or?
We did not, actually. We did not do volume calculations. We knew they would be jurisdictional under the bylaw and get a 100-foot buffer zone, at least under the bylaw.
Jurisdictional if it's wetlands. I don't think we do isolated land subject to flooding under the bylaw.
Yeah, we do. So the thing is, though, I mean, they're probably not proposing to fill or touch any of these resource areas. We could certainly, in the order of resource area delineation, say we're not making any findings as to whether or not the isolated wetlands are ILSF. If you propose to fill them when you do an NOI, at that time you'll have to do a calculation.
Right, so you don't have to do it now necessarily.
Right.
Does that sound reasonable to you?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Okay, so it's no need to ask them to do calculations on larger basins right now. All right, that's all I have. so I guess since this is a public hearing, is there anyone in the audience that has questions about the right-of-way wetlands determination by Eversource?
I don't see anybody left online, so there's nobody left online.
All right, so I guess we would issue the order for resource area delineation at the next meeting. Is that the plan?
Yes, and you might want to just touch base with DEP, I'm not really sure. I might have said waiting for fee to clear.
Yeah, I saw that as well. We sent the check certified mail to the lockbox, and I did receive the green card back. So I'm a little perplexed by that as well.
I mean, we have 4 weeks before the next meeting. If 2 or 3 weeks go by and there's no file number, you might want to check with the check.
Yeah.
All right, so we're still awaiting the DEP.
Correct.
Right. All right, so the next meeting will be, let's see, on January 11th. Could I have a motion to continue this public hearing by Eversource?
Before you continue, do you want to discuss when you'd like to, since they're here, do you want to try to do it on a Wednesday afternoon? Like you typically do, not the Wednesday before the meeting when you've got other sites to visit, but a different Wednesday?
We could do that.
Would that be okay? I mean, I'll send out a doodle poll, but on like a Wednesday afternoon?
To do this.
Visit to.
For some of the commissioners to just look at some of the flags.
Yeah, that should be okay. I'll have to just run it by Eversource and make sure it's okay for us to be on.
Okay.
But yeah, I would
I'll coordinate it by email.
Yeah, perfect.
Don't they give us permission to go on the site anyway, when they file?
Well, that's true. Does that count for?
Yeah, I'm not sure on a site like this. I mean, they probably have a lot of liability.
I mean, like, someone like Sarah climbing the poles or something?
No intention of climbing poles. I do like to walk around and look at stuff.
Okay. All right, I wasn't trying to say that you would climb a pole.
Find Tannery Pond or other curiosities in that area.
Sure. All right, so you'll send out a poll at certain times, whatever. All right, and you'll check whether that's okay.
Yes. Yep.
All right. Okay, so can I have a motion to continue the Eversource public hearing to January 11th, 2024?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? 600.
Thank you.
So we will see you at a site walk, possibly, some of us, and then see you in a month here.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
Tannery Pond is a mystery.
It's on there, but I don't see any blue anything.
Where we talking where they built Mill Pond. They built it.
It's quite far away from the Mill Pond.
What are we talking about?
There's this thing called Tannery Pond, isn't that right? Is there anything there? If you get rid of the satellite layers, there's no like blue spot there. Is there a pond?
All right, so let's see where we are. We are in item number 7. Notice is hereby given. The commission will hold a public hearing, during which time we have take information related to a notice of intent filed by BMC Builders LLC, Ken Chisholm, for the demolition of a dwelling and construction of new dwelling at 145 Wilmington Road in Burlington. The proposed work would be within the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetative wetland under the State Wetlands Protection Act and Burlington Bylaw, Article 14. The commission will review the information relative to the application and issue an order of conditions and a Burlington's wetlands permit. And the application is available at the link at the conservation website. Okay.
Thank you. Stephen Dresser, Dresser Williamson Way, representing BMC Builders LLC. Ken Chisholm, his brother Scott Chisholm are here. They can answer any questions you might have relative to them. The applicant intends to demolish the existing house on the property and construct a new single-family home. There's a BVW to the northwest of the property, and the home's going to fall within 100 feet of that, with that wetland, hence the filing. The nearest land that we're clearing, because it's off-site, and what we need is actually 40 feet from the wetland, so we're staying well away. There is a sewer easement that runs through the property, as well as an existing curb cut that we're trying to use, so kind of the location, style of house are kind of locked into where they are. The construction of the single-family home would also require a stormwater management permit. An infiltration system has been designed in the back in compliance with the stormwater regulations. There's also a stone trench for the driveway that will catch water, as well as direct water back to that infiltration system. So I think it's a fairly simple filing as far as they go. Just any questions, glad to answer them.
All right, good, thank you for the summary. All right, Eileen, are you doing this one?
I will, and I don't have very much to add. As Steve said, it's pretty simple. It's a notice of intent because there is work proposed in the buffer to bordering vegetated wetland, which is shown back up at the top of the screen here, just touching the property. And as he said, they are proposing, they have done all the stormwater calcs and are proposing a very large infiltration system in the back, which will take the infiltration from both the house and the driveway after it goes through the stone trench, right?
Yep.
And they're putting the infiltration system back sort of fairly near the wetlands, so that'll, I mean, not that close to the wetlands, but at least it may help discharge to the wetlands, towards the wetlands. It is going to be a larger house. They're moving it from the existing house is kind of way over on one side of the property, and they're sort of centralizing it a little bit more, the new house, and that's about it. The storm tech is going to take the 10-year storm, which is about 5 inches.
Okay, Kent, anything on this one?
Nothing to add.
How about Indra? Any?
Nope.
Rob?
I'm just curious, why the stone trench have that sort of notch angle in it? Is it going around a tree?
Oh, it's a turnaround because there's a paved turnaround there.
Oh, okay.
So because Wilmington Road's such a busy road, instead of backing out into Wilmington Road, that allows them to turn around.
Okay.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
All right, Sarah, anything on this one?
No, I don't have any concerns about this one.
Ed?
No.
No? All right. Mr. Dresser, I saw you did 2 test pits out
Yep.
there. I wish I saw 2, maybe there's
Yep.
2. Do they support having a couple of feet under the bottom of the inspection for infiltration to estimated seasonally high groundwater?
Yeah, it's a 2-foot offset. Yep.
It's a 2-foot offset, so we're all set there.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right.
I suppose we should clarify, because it wasn't fully clear to me from the plans, what sort of vegetation removal we're talking about?
It's really rough, brushy type stuff out there. You know, there's probably some trees mixed in there, but it's very, very overgrown.
Back there,
The whole site
certainly,
is.
yeah. So all these trees are all coming down, though, presumably because they've got to make way for the actual structure? That's towards the front center of the site? Yeah.
Anything else? Rob, from anyone?
So actually, so on the plan, you've got the erosion controls. There's sort of like a triangle in the right front of the lot that's outside the erosion controls.
Yep.
Yeah, right where the cursor is. So in that area, are you not clearing the vegetation there?
Correct.
You're not,
we're not.
You're not?
I think we're going to clear some.
Yeah, I mean, I think,
Street for a sight line.
yeah, for sightlines, I would think you'd want to go in there.
Yeah.
So the erosion controls might not want to cut off that corner if you're going to go
I
in
don't think you
there.
have to go that far back. You're going to want to provide some kind of buffer to the house and not, I mean, I understand your sight line, but, you know, there's a port, you have your sidewalk 5 foot wide and then probably another 5 feet to that, so, yeah, it's pretty nasty there, but they are clearing the front there, so they might take 5 or 10 feet off of that, but I wouldn't.
No, you guys can discuss it if you want to.
But Sean, you're just saying bring that straight down that way, because it is, if you try to pull out of it, you look this way.
Right.
The brush is kind of, all you're seeing is brush.
Yeah.
You know?
So you should just discuss where you want the erosion controls if you want to move them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thus, are you open to doing some replanting of smaller, you know, carefully placed vegetation? Probably not in the sewer easement, I would think, but maybe elsewhere on the site.
What do you mean, as opposed to landscape in front of the house?
Just to replace some native vegetation, native plantings on site. Oh, maybe back, so you're not doing anything back here, right?
Yeah, we're not.
40 feet towards the wetlands?
We do have a 40-foot, no clear.
Eileen?
Yeah.
Did you think there was selective invasive removal to be done back there closer to the stream?
I'll be honest, I didn't really look at what was back there, at individual like plants of what was back there. Did you were actually out on site, right? I mean, sorry, you looked at their, oh no, sorry, you didn't you look at their,
It just looked very brushy.
you looked at the.
It is definitely on the site, I'll be honest, I really didn't take a close look at that 40-foot, because we were out doing
I
the
was
test.
just wondering your approach. Are you planning to just simply clear all that brush because it's not very valuable, and then you're going to leave it bare? Or
Within the limit, well, within the limit of work,
They're leaving everything back behind here,
I see.
where the cursor
be a
is.
vegetative
It's
buffer.
really not, if you walk it, it's not like this nice maple trees. It's really just overgrown, it's like kind of like a jungle.
That's what he's saying, so if
It's
they're,
about brush.
you know, you can have some invasive management if it is invasive, but although, you know, good thing about brush is it does, you know, wildlife protection and all that stuff. There is some value to it for sure.
Sure. It's just not that attractive.
No.
All right.
This time of year, might look very green in the spring and summer, but
I have a quick question.
Yes, go ahead.
So you are taking, actually demolishing the existing structure and driveways. So are you reducing the impervious area?
no, there's an increase in impervious area. Yeah, that's one of the reasons we have to file a public hearing stormwater management permit, because more than 10% of the lot will be impervious area.
Thank you.
It's a large driveway now.
Right.
It's just, it's a larger house, really. It's the house that's increasing the impervious area, not the driveway.
Thank you.
Could we get to some determination between now and the next time whether there's any invasive removal required, so we can put that in the conditions?
Sure. So the wetland report from Norse Environmental does note that the understory consists of common buckthorn and glossy buckthorn, which is both are non-native invasives.
Beyond the erosion control area?
She's just saying at the rear of the property.
So maybe we could,
That's Evan, actually into the wetlands as well, yeah.
so we can condition some hand removal?
I don't think you're going to want them to go into the wetlands, though.
No, well.
Even for.
I mean, the buckthorn probably extends into the buffer zone. It does certainly well in buffer zones.
There.
All right, so we'll just come up with some conditions for some invasive removal.
Okay.
All right, anything else? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to comment on the project at 145 Wilmington Road? All right, no public comment? So, by way of summary, did anybody hear that we need them to provide anything for the next meeting, or are we all set?
We're going to discuss the location of the erosion control and Are you going to look at it for invasive species?
Sure, I can go.
We can do that, yeah.
All right, so we got
We do have a file number, by the way. I don't know.
695.
So we got
yeah.
2 items to just follow up on, and
Yep.
that should be easy between now and the next meeting. All right, therefore, could I have a motion to continue the public hearing from, for 145 Wilmington Road to the next meeting of January 11th, 2024?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? 600. Okay.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Mr. Dresser. Happy holidays.
Oh, that was quick. Wow.
Okay, we're on administration stuff. Planning board comments. Do we have any comments for the planning board?
Nope. The planning board already finished with the Salem 5 Bank, and they don't have Eversource yet, so nope.
We're all set. Subcommittee and staff reports.
Well, I wanted to mention you're going so fast, I haven't even opened it yet. The Recreation Department's proposed grant application to reimagine Overlook Park. When I've finished speaking, I can open their concept plan, which maybe doesn't tell us that much. They're proposing to do some great things on that site, including a ski lift.
Why don't I I'll go through the list.
Sure, why don't you do that? Yeah.
Since I have it in front of me.
Okay.
There at Overlook Park, the Recreation Department is proposing a playground, open lawn and event space, a path and walking loop around many parts of it, wayfinding and signage, parking for about 30 cars, a maintenance building. They're proposing probably to renovate the existing theater building with a performance stage and amphitheater on the slope. They're talking about something called a pump track and a sledding hill, and a trellis with flexible paved space with interpretive signage. And there's going to be walking path connections to existing Little Brook Conservation Area trails. So that's what's being planned. It sounds like a very aggressive and impressive project.
Did you mention the classrooms? They want to put modular classrooms in there? I'm not sure it's in their list there, but that's on the existing garage, which has now been knocked down. The base still remains, and they would like to put modular classrooms in there.
Oh, yes, I missed it, yes.
Including-
Modular classrooms and preschool. Was that for public preschool, or, I wonder?
I actually don't know, but the preschool, I think the idea is that whatever part of what they have going at Simons Park at the moment, they would be able to move over, so they have more room for all of their opportunities. Moving the basketball court, some stone dust type trails. Kelly would like them ideally to be 6 feet wide, but to make them much more accessible, including 2 accessible ATVs, not to crazy people going all over the conservation areas. And the pump track is a type of bike track where you use gravity alone to move around the pump track. She had to tell me.
They're also using the classrooms, they're talking about environmental and education component.
Yes.
Right. All right.
If you're open to it, they would love a letter of support. And the reason that it has to be kind of quick because the application is due in before or around the time of our next meeting. So if you're open to it, we'll draft up something and I'll send it out to you guys for approval.
Then people can come by when the draft is final, then we.
Either that or if you guys are okay with it, maybe we could just have Larry and Bill sign it, something like that. So on behalf of, it might be easier.
Yeah, is that okay with you folks? Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Okay, so anybody have a question or comment on what you just heard?
If somebody's going back to watch this video, can you just clarify where Overlook Park is in Burlington? Just so somebody watches
the video. Yeah, let me actually, let me pull up the map for you of where it is. I will show you right now. It's actually one Overlook.
So while she's doing that, one benefit would be, so the adjacent property is our Little Brook Conservation Area, which really doesn't have any parking at all. I mean, I suppose you could try to park along Mountain Road, but Mountain Road is a pretty narrow street. So there's really no way to, I mean, it's probably mostly used by people who are, live in the neighborhoods around that conservation area. But once there's public parking at Overlook Park and there's trails that connect to it, I think more people will be able to use the Little Brook Conservation Area.
I don't think they'd want on that new proposed apartment complex to go up along Mountain View Road. I don't think they would like it if conservation users parked all along the switchback, back and forth.
Windview Heights now.
Windview Heights, yes.
So just to show you, Kent, this is Wynn Street, and then there's Mountain Road. So if you're traveling down Wynn Street from here, say, you'll take a... Sorry, I have a bit of trouble with right and left. I will. I was just showing him the overview first. You would take a right onto Harriet or one of those streets, and then you get to Edgemere and what's the next one? Begins with an O.
It's the old Nike site, right?
It is. Yeah. So it likely would also include historic signage referencing the old Nike site too. Overlook, or not Overlook. I do mean Overlook. So that's the old, the Players Theatre is up there, and the old rec maintenance garage.
Yeah, if you haven't been up there, it is in a highly dilapidated condition. It's worth taking a look. It's kind of amazing that we have some decent-looking playgrounds, I mean, in fair to average condition at least, and you go up there and it's pretty run down.
Isn't there a theater company that puts on shows?
Yeah, the Players.
Dilapidated state, is it?
It's...
Well, that one is still better. But the old, the maintenance garage was pretty...
Better is a relative term.
So it's got a high point here. So I guess this is where they're proposing to do more of their, the ski lift.
I noticed that they're planning to put a trail right through the middle of where I think the town has been dumping their wood stuff and stuff in there. On the right-hand side, when you walk into Overlook Park, there's a whole bunch of dumped stuff. So it looks like they must be planning on not doing that anymore because they're going to put a trail right through that.
Right, so the rec maintenance used to be there, and now they moved down to Great Meadow Road, so, they're not really there. I mean, they probably have some stuff that I think they store, like, out-of-season things. They might stick lawnmowers up there in the wintertime or something, but they're not really used.
When I was last up there, there was a lot of dumped materials like tree trunks and roots and miscellaneous wood and so it looks like from the looks of a trail going through the middle of it, looks like they plan to clean it up.
Oh, yeah.
Good. This is a very impressive plan. So could we have a motion to issue a letter of support for the Land and Water Conservation Grant to support the proposed project at Overlook Park by the Recreation Department from the Conservation Commission?
And you should, just because of the timing of it, just include that you can sign on behalf, because rather
The
than...
motion should also say that, that the chair and vice chair will sign on behalf of the commission because we're short on time.
So moved.
Second?
Second. Kent?
Further discussion? All in favor? 600. Okay, good, thank you. It looks like a very attractive project. Very impressive.
Positive.
Good.
All right, next we have an update on enforcement order, 10 Spring Valley Road.
So that's the one that we want to visit with the applicant present. We had that scheduled for our site visits this week, but he wasn't able to be there. So we'll visit that site before the next meeting and continue this item to the next meeting.
Okay. All right. Could you summarize for the commission the fact that we have an article to adopt? Is it we who have an article to adopt at town meeting? The one for the new flood maps, or what that's about?
So, I mean, I drafted it. It doesn't really have much to do with the Conservation Commission or even the department. I just took it on because it didn't seem like anybody was going to, and it needed to be done. It's a requirement that we update our floodplain bylaw.
Yeah, so could you explain what's going on?
Sure. So FEMA has a requirement for communities in their flood program, which Burlington and probably almost every community is in the flood program, which basically allows homeowners to buy flood insurance. But the town has to do certain things to remain eligible, and viable in the flood program. And so they've stepped up their requirements for their bylaw, what the bylaw actually has to say. And DCR that has a program, their floodplain management program, I think it's called, that sort of works as intermediaries between FEMA and the communities. So we don't deal directly with FEMA, we deal with the folks at DCR. And they basically created a model bylaw, which includes everything that FEMA wants the communities to have in their bylaw to stay, in compliance. So I just basically rewrote our bylaw using their model bylaw. And it includes a bunch of definitions that aren't in our bylaw. It has an expanded purpose, which is a much more detailed purpose than our bylaw had. There's a new requirement that the bylaw actually formally designates a floodplain administrator or manager in the town. So this does that, and in Burlington, it'll be the inspector of buildings.
So who enforces the zoning bylaw, assuming it's adopted?
The inspector of buildings.
So it'll be the building department?
Yeah. There is one question that I do have, and I'll have to get an answer from town council. The bylaw actually has one sentence that says that a permit is required under this bylaw. So I actually did get a question from someone in the development community. Does that mean that there's going to be a requirement for a new permit that doesn't exist? And I'm not really sure of that. It sounds like it. Currently, if you're doing any building in the floodplain, you do need permits. You would need permits from the Conservation Commission under the Wetlands Protection Act. You would need permits from the building inspector, making sure you're meeting the state building code and local building codes. But the question is whether or not then there's an additional permit under this bylaw, which would perhaps be issued by the planning board. I'm not really sure. So
would it be administrative, or would it have performance standards?
I don't know.
Because if it has performance standards, you'd have to have somebody hold a public hearing.
Yeah.
And it might make sense because of the synergism to have it done simultaneously with a Conservation Commission hearing. It might.
Yeah, except that it's zoning.
Except it's zoning, right.
Yeah.
I don't know, I have to give it some thought.
Yeah, I don't know. I need clarity from town council. It kind of seems like it's overkill, having an additional permit, because we certainly thoroughly review every floodplain application, as does the building inspector, to have like yet another layer. I'm not really sure that that's what the bylaw intends, but it kind of sounds like it. And I did get a question from someone in the development community about it. So try to get more clarity. But that shouldn't hold up the passage of the bylaw. It just might mean at some point we need to establish some sort of permitting process for an additional permit.
I would think the regulated community would not be happy to have to go through a separate self-standing permit for a floodplain permit at all.
Right.
I think they'd be happy.
Right.
So we'll have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I can understand that. They have enough to go through.
Yeah.
Insurance.
Okay, any questions? Any questions for John on the floodplain or the potential for a new permit? I assume you'll follow up with town council on this?
Yeah.
All right, the next meeting will be January 11th, 2024. The next meeting after that will be January 25th, 2024. If you're going to miss any of the meetings, please let the office know so we can schedule appropriately. Is there anything further?
So I sent out a proposed 2024 meeting schedule. We just need you to vote that. It's the standard one we do every year with the second and fourth Thursdays for 8 of the months, and then the second Thursday only on July, August, November, and December.
Right, it's exactly a replica of,
Yeah.
with the appropriate dates of
Yeah,
what
but we need to publish that and give it to the clerk, so.
All right, could I have a motion to adopt the proposed meeting schedule as John pointed out? I looked at it, I thought it was what we always do.
Moved.
That was a move?
So moved, yep.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? 600. Anything further, John?
Not for me.
Anybody? Any issues? Could I have a motion to adjourn this meeting of the Burlington Conservation Commission?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? 600.